Welcome in to the Own Yourself Show. My name is Alex Ardell. You can go follow me on Twitter at Alex Ardell. You can email the show at ownyourselfshow@gmail.com. Today, I had a little time, so I'm going to record the episode I was going to do on Friday. This will be about stories. I got sidetracked on the Jeffrey Epstein thing, and now today I want to revisit what I had planned to do. um, which is talk about stories. And the thing that got me on this was I watched Stranger Things season 3. It was really good. I didn't like Stranger Things season 2. I thought season 1 was very good, and season 2 not so much. Season 3 was very good. And watching it got me thinking, by just comparing the 3 seasons, what makes a successful story and what makes a compelling story. Stories are very important, and they're maybe the best way to change someone's mind, to spread an idea, and they always have been. And it's quite possible that they always will be. Um, Look, leftists did not take over the Hollywood, the entertainment industry for no reason. They did that because this is the best way to spread ideas, is through story. They're ancient ideas that still persist to this day, that have existed because they have been told through the generations in the form of stories. So I believe that it is impossible to hear a story or watch a story without internalizing uh, either the message or the pieces of that story. I believe that's physically impossible. Now, when we tell our kids when they watch TV, nothing on TV is real, we'll tell kids that. Or when they see something scary on TV, we'll tell them it's not real, it's just TV. What we're saying, or what a lot of kids are thinking, is okay, this is special effects, where the blood is not real on TV. What it's impossible to tell your kid is the human interaction is not real. It's impossible to tell a kid TV is not real and convey the message to them successfully that the interactions between the people on TV are not real. That's not how humans act. The choices made on the TV are not real. It's not how people make choices. The portrayals of certain things in society are not real. Nothing on TV is real. But when we tell our kids, or we tell anyone, that's not real, is it possible to watch a show and understand that the dragon on the show is not a real dragon? It's possible to do that. Is it possible to watch a show and not internalize the way a certain character acts, especially if you might relate to that character? I don't think that's possible. It may be possible if you are just so aware of the propaganda that you see it everywhere you look. And it's very difficult for me to watch television shows because I can pick out the propaganda uh, as it comes in, and it turns me off to the story in general. And if you're not at that point, you're probably internalizing small things. Like if you're not at the point where you can't even get to the storyline through all the propaganda on TV, if you're not to that point, you're probably internalizing the propaganda. I don't think there's a way around that. So stories. What made Stranger Things season 3 so much better than Stranger Things season 2? And what made season 1 so good, for that matter? Mystery. So in season 1 of Stranger Things, you didn't really know what was going on. You had no idea what they were fighting. There was this thing called the Upside Down. Uh, you didn't know what that was. There were these monsters that seemed like they could shift through dimensions, but you didn't really know why or who they were. And then they figured that out. So going into season 2, there was no mystery left. There was nothing left to solve. There was no puzzle in your mind left to solve. And instead of taking a completely new turn and bringing mystery back into the story, the writers of Stranger Things simply made a continuous storyline, basically, where the same problem came back. That was not interesting because there is no mystery. Now, Stranger Things Season 3 reintroduced mystery, and I can't really talk about it without spoiling it, and it was a great show. It was a great season, so I won't spoil it for you, but just know that they reintroduced mystery. I guess I'll say people's bodies were being taken over it was almost a zombie story. That's a new monster. And now you have to figure that out. So that's intriguing. That's the kind of story that you want to watch. You want to find out what happened. So what is one of the keys to an intriguing story? Mystery. You want to have enough mystery that you want to know what happens. But you also want to care about what happens. So the other important part of a story is familiarity. You want to be able to relate to the characters enough that you care about the mysterious things that happen to them. So you want to relate to the story enough that the mystery matters. Otherwise, you just don't really give a shit what ends up happening. But if there's this element of familiarity, you're attracted to the show as much as the mystery. So this is these are two integral parts to a good story: mystery and familiarity. Stranger Things season 3, actually all of Stranger Things, had a good amount of familiarity. You have the retro 80s kind of theme throughout the whole thing. They did a good job of that to where enough people could remember that time. And even 90s kids like me could recognize a lot of the stuff and the culture of that time. And the familiarity of that made you care about what happened to these kids. Now, season 1 and 3 had both elements. Season 2 lacked mystery. So you can have all the familiarity you want. If you don't introduce mystery, nobody cares about your story. So, along these lines, I thought I'd tie this back to culture. And what I see as, let's see, they say the storyline being presented to you from a cultural perspective. Understanding that you need both familiarity and mystery in your story. So I believe if you listen to my culture series, you kind of, and it was kind of long, and if you got through all of those, I commend you. I was pretty sleepy in some of those videos, but if you listen to the whole thing, you got that the right exists to defend this natural order. The right is tradition. The left is exists to destroy this tradition, and the left is the unknown of what will become of destroying the tradition. So think about that as it relates to stories. Right has familiarity on lockdown. Tradition is familiarity. These are things we all recognize and we've been living with for a while. Left is mystery. This is the intrigue of what we could have that we don't have now. So understanding that a successful story needs both familiarity and mystery, we can understand who has a more successful story, or we can maybe understand how we could put together a more successful story. The left is very good at disguising its story in familiarity. You will often hear left-wing people not completely abandon the familiar. They'll say a return to a time when we had a living wage. They will say America wasn't always a country that did X. This was a place for anyone. This, bring us your sick and needy. They'll say familiar lines to bring back that appeal to tradition. So they will disguise the mystery. The cat's saying hi again. The left will disguise the mystery in a cloud of familiarity and thus have both elements of a successful story. Well, the right is very good at familiarity. They're very good at presenting tradition. Make America great again. That is tradition. But what it always also has is an element of mystery. This is why Donald Trump told a successful story. The mystery being, what will America look like when it is great again? So Donald Trump understands both sides of a successful story. The traditional conservative only understands familiarity. He presents no mystery. He says we could have a world like the 50s, or we could have a world like the 70s, or whatever familiar tradition they're pulling back to it. I'm sorry, my lighting is just going to shit. I will get a better webcam at some point here. But so back to this. Look, the right traditionally has been horrible at presenting mystery. They have simply presented familiarity. That is not a successful story. The left has presented mystery wrapped in a shroud of familiarity. That's a successful story. So this is one of the reasons Donald Trump is so good at stories and why he gets called a leftist. He may be leftist about certain things, like nobody falls perfectly on one side or the other of a camp, but he's very good at presenting the mystery of what we could have. That's an important part of a story. So really, this storytelling, this kind of breakdown of a story can be used in many situations, and it can be used, it's one of the reasons why facts don't care about your feelings is completely stupid. Facts are familiar. These are the familiarity. This is what exists. That presents no room for the mysterious, which are the feelings. A successful argument must contain both facts and feelings, both the familiar and the mysterious. And you can use that in every single part of your life to present a successful story. Present a successful story about who you are. You have the familiar. You have the things people want to see out of a person, whether this be the workplace or relationships or family. You have the things everyone wants to see: a stable person, a clean person, the familiar. Not a ridiculous person, but then that's a boring person unless you have an element of mystery. And this is best demonstrated. Look at this cat hair. It's wild. Look, unless you have, or the best mystery possible surrounding a person is potential. You know, somebody that seems like they have a lot of potential has a lot of mystery. What is that potential going to fulfill itself as? So think about that in all aspects of your life. How storytelling can actually present. Turned into a cat stream. Probably my best videos are simply shots of my cat. Uh, you find those on Twitter every once in a while at Alex Ardell. Get out of here. But think about how stories can be used in every element of your life. And think about, as it pertains to culture, the need to present the mysterious. Freedom is mysterious. But maybe when you are presenting freedom, you need to add the familiar. Just something to think about. I'm Alex Ardell. I hope you enjoyed the show. This is the Own Yourself Show. Get out of here. Email me at ownyourselfshow@gmail.com. Talk to you guys soon.